Thanks, Bill. It's my honor to present the financial statements for year ending of October 21st, 2022. MNP conducted the annual audit for the fiscal year ending. Audit was carried out in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards and included a review of all of the significant accounting and management reporting systems with each material year-end balance, key transactions, and other events considered significant to the financial statements considered separately. The Finance Committee has met 6 times in the past year. Other members of the committee include Chuck Fosse, Kevin Stott, and Bill Campbell as well. I would like to now pass on to the auditors from MNP. Jeff and Jessica will present the statements. They are included in your packages for you to follow along.
So good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Eckstein, and I'm a partner in MNP's Winnipeg office, and I'm the lead engagement partner on the Keystone Agriculture Producers, which I'll refer to as CAP going forward, financial statement audit. I've been asked to present the October 31st, 2022 audited financial statements, and my intention is to do a high-level overview and highlight some of the significant changes from the prior year. So if we could move on to the next page, or one more up, sorry. Perfect, thank you. So I'll begin with the independent auditor's report, which is what's up on the screen there. The content and wording of the audit report is consistent with the prior year. For those who may not be familiar with a financial statement audit, the responsibility of the auditor is to express an opinion on the financial statements of the organization with respect to their fair presentation in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. And the audit itself must comply with Canadian auditing standards. As the opinion paragraph of the audit report notes, based on the audit procedures performed, MNP has opined that the financial statements of CAP are fairly presented as at and for the year ended October 31st, 2022. So this is an unqualified or clean audit opinion. Moving on to the statement of financial position. One more page. Perfect. Overall, total assets were up from the prior year with an increase of approximately $100,000 or 6%. The drivers of that were primarily the increase in the cash balance of $192,000, offset by about a $66,000 decrease in accounts receivable. The increase in cash was a result of timing of collection of the accounts receivable and also the timing of collection of program funding. The decrease in receivables was primarily due to the timing of collection of that program funding from the province with respect to the farm safety program and the environmental farm plan. Looking at the investments, they were pretty consistent, a small increase of approximately $3,000. We'll get into the investments a little bit further, but note 3 of these financial statements includes a breakdown of the expenses, and you'll see that there were some GICs that matured during the year, and those were reinvested into an equity and bonds portfolio. Other highlights on the asset side of the balance sheet include capital assets. There was a decrease there, mainly due to the amortization expense for the period. Moving on to the liabilities, there was an increase of about $34,000, and that's representing a decrease in accounts payable of about $150,000, and then there was increases in unearned membership fees of $34,000 and deferred revenues of about $106,000. Unearned membership fees increased as a result of members paying for their 2022-2023 memberships prior to the October 31st, 2022 year end. And with respect to deferred revenue, again, what drove that increase was CAP receiving some program funding cash prior to October 31st, 2022, but the expenses not being incurred as at that date. And finally, the decrease in the payables year over year was due to there being some payables related to the EFP online program as at October 31st, 2021, and those similar payables did not exist given that online program was launched in October 2022. Moving on to the net assets section, you'll see net assets have increased by approximately $65,000 from 2021, and that's due to the current year operating surplus. So analyzing the balance sheet of CAP, you'll see that the overall cash resources and working capital of the organization continue to remain healthy, and that's a result of prudent budgeting and also prudent financial management by both management and the board of directors. Moving on, yep, that's a good page, statement of operations. So we're on the revenue section. Total revenues decreased by about $183,000 year over year. There were decreases in membership revenue and also province of Manitoba revenue related to the environmental farm plan and farm safety program. Those revenues have decreased because those two programs had lower expenses in the current fiscal year relative to the prior year. And there was also about a $52,000 increase in loyalty payments year over year. Moving to the next page on the expenses. Total expenses decreased $74,000. The overall decrease in expenses was largely due to the online EFP program. That had a year-over-year decrease in expenses of approximately $68,000. And again, that corresponds to that decrease in revenue I spoke of earlier. Development and recruitment expenses decreased by $23,000, and that's due to the GM recruitment fees in the prior year. Salaries, wages, I should say, and contractor wages increased by approximately $35,000. And that's mainly due to the organization being underspent in that category in the prior year with some vacancies throughout the year. And just do want to highlight, I know we've got note references to that, or schedule references to that salary, wages, and contract wages line item. That's just to highlight that included in there. There are the contractor wages for the farm safety and the EFP programs as well included in that amount. So excess of revenues over expenses before other items was $75,000 for the current year. There were unrealized losses on the investment portfolio of approximately $10,000 for a total excess of revenue over expenses for the year of $65,000 and ending net assets at $1,466,000. If I could get you to flip forward a few pages to note 3. Keep going. Yeah, and scroll down a little bit. One page before. Yeah, but scroll, if you can scroll this page down. Yes, perfect. Note 3, investments. So regarding the unrealized realized investment gains or losses. So as the equity and bonds portfolio investments are recorded at fair value, these financial statements reflect a fair value or mark-to-market adjustment each year. And depending on which way the market values are going, that'll either be an unrealized gain or loss. But it's only a paper loss, so to speak. That's not a realized loss. You only realize gains or losses when you dispose of these investments or when you incur actual, interest or dividend type income. So you'll see on this note, on the second line there, equities and bonds, we've got the book value or cost of that investment portfolio of $531,000. And what's in the 2022 column there, that $541,000 represents the market value at October 31st, 2022. So what that means is, as at October 31st, 2022, there's about an $11,000 unrealized gain on those investments, cumulative. Okay, if you could back up a little bit to the statement of cash flows. Nope, one more up, sorry. I think page, keep going up the other way. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Statement of cash flow. It breaks out the change in the cash year over year and breaks that out between operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So what this statement shows is the organization generated cash from operating activities of $205,000, and then it had a net use of cash from investing activities of $13,000, and there was no cash generated or used for financing activities. So the net of those results in the year-over-year increase in the cash balance of $192,000. So that gets us through the primary financial statements. What follows that on the next couple of pages are note disclosures. These are just required by Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations and include a description of the accounting policies and then some further notes that provide some more detail on some of the line items in the financial statements. And those notes are consistent year over year, no major changes. And then behind that are 8 schedules that disclose some major expenses by function and also some revenue expenses by some of the various programs year over year. So that concludes the high-level presentation on those financial statements, and I believe there's an opportunity for questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Jeff. So I now ask if there is any questions, you can step up to one of the mics and just identify your name and district, and if you have any questions. This is before I call for a motion on the floor. Oh, yes. Kevin. Go ahead. Do you have a question? Oh, okay. Okay, I will now call a motion, if someone would, a motion to accept the 2022 audited financial statements as recommended by the Board of Directors.
Les Ferris, District 2.
Thank you, Les. And a seconder? Kevin? Kevin Stott? Any other questions? Okay, I will now call the question. Now you, I think are we going to try out no, we're not trying the clickers out. We're going to use hands, old school. So I will call the question. All those in favor? Those opposed? That motion is carried. The next order of business, I would now call for a motion from the membership for appointing MNP for the next calendar year, or next business year. If you want to stand with, just, yeah. Thank you, Craig. I can't, the lights are blinding me up here. It's like a rock show up here. And a seconder, please. Thank you, Carter. Any questions? Okay, I will now call the question. All those in favor? Those opposed? And that is carried as well. Thank you very much.